This is not a test. Don't expect to be impressed. Put on your life vest. Sit down your armrest. It's time to stray from the grind. Don't take my hand, 'cause you'll find no peace of mind. Side quest.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Side Quest, the episodes we do in between the episodes that are main game for which you know the podcast and it's named. And also, I have a tradition of making these incredibly convoluted. Anyway, I am Drew Hayes. Joining me today are John Hartness, Joseph Brassey, Rick Gualteri, Robert Bevan, and R.E. Carr.
Hello.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Hello, friends.
And we have a couple of topics. We're going to get into the Microsoft Blizzard deal as our main topic in a bit. But first, we have a bonus action. And oh goodness, we wanted to talk about Peacemaker, which...
But before we talk about Peacemaker, you need to take a second and go over to authorsanddragons.com, click the button for A&D Con 2022, and buy your ticket and reserve your hotel room so that you can come see us in August in Charlotte and tell us how wrong we are on this side quest. And if you buy your tickets today, Joe will try very hard to keep his sexy V.I. Warshawski voice until August just for you.
Please.
Yeah, the one good thing, I guess, about having caught COVID is I get to sound like this for a while.
Let's look on the bright side while I fan myself.
So we're recording this right after episode 4's drop. So it's been out for about 2 weeks. They did the big 3-episode dump a week ago, and now we are in the weekly release schedule. So I think everybody except Bob has seen at least episode 1, so we're definitely going to cover that. Prepare yourself for spoilers if you have not caught up on the show so far.
And if you haven't seen Suicide Squad, the one that doesn't suck, you should, which is called The Suicide Squad, as opposed to the one without the article, which is really shitty. You should go watch that and then watch the episodes.
Yeah,
and then buy your A&D Con tickets, and then come back and listen to this shit.
And buy all our books.
That brings up a great point. John, I wanted to touch on, before we even get into the actual show itself, the big old, by James Gunn that comes up after the extremely captivating intro sequence that I haven't skipped yet.
You can't skip it. It's not allowed.
It feels like a flourish. It feels like hey, just a reminder, I took this piece of shit franchise and made it so fucking good that they gave the dumbass character a spinoff. I just want y'all to fucking know I'm victory lapping right now.
He deserves it. He really does.
He 1,000% deserves it.
I mean, in the same chunk of time, when we were reminded what a piece of shit Joss Whedon is, we get the awesomeness of James Gunn, who's made his share of mistakes and off-color jokes, but we don't shame for off-color jokes on this podcast.
Especially if they apologize and, aren't total dickheads on set. And don't get me started, because I can feel rage rising because you mentioned the Josticle.
Well, we're not going to give him any more airtime.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Peacemaker and James Gunn's project, which is fucking way better than I kind of thought it would be when it was announced.
I'm with you.
Here.
This is one of those shows that, I was like, okay. I'm not a John Cena fan, but I'm starting to really like R-rated John Cena. And, when this was announced, I was like, okay, I'll watch it, but I'm not really looking forward to it. But now I'm kind of hitting that, all right, I am kind of looking forward to it.
John Cena has gotten a lot better as an actor in the years that he has been doing it.
It's almost like practice helps.
Yeah, he's been putting in effort, and it honestly has shown.
He's also just like a swell guy.
Oh, I mean, he holds the fucking record for most Make-A-Wishes granted by several hundred.
Yeah, he inspired me to post one positive thing on Twitter every single day, and that actually came from John Cena, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
I've noticed that you do that, and it's very nice to see, because most of the people I follow on Twitter are like me, raging assholes.
No, every day I post something affirmative, positive, reassuring, and that came from John Cena. So if you follow me on Twitter, which is Total Recar, you too will get that daily affirmation and lots of pictures of my cat.
He's following this like a similar path, I think, to Rock, because it seems to like, when the really charismatic like wrestlers turn to actors, at first they do family friendly stuff, and then I think they finally realize, oh wait, I don't work for Vince McMahon. I don't have to be like PG or PG-13 anymore. And then they take like an R-rated role or so, and I don't know. It's like that seems to be when they really start to shine for me.
Anyway, at what point did The Rock have that realization? Because he is, honestly, I would rather watch Cena in something, because he'll do a role like Peacemaker, which has like rough edges. The Rock has kind of sanded down so much of all of that to be the most family friendly thing possible. And I mean,
he's been weathered.
The guy makes so much money.
Fast and Furious is not what I would call like super family friendly.
True.
Really?
Ballers.
But comparatively, yeah.
I mean, okay,
Ballers.
Ballers is a strong one. Fast and the Furious is, it's not that much of a push anymore. It's made with a big audience in mind.
I still think Dave Bautista gets the wrestler with the best acting cred, but that's from stuff like Dune and Blade Runner.
Wait, just come on. At least say wrestler with the bestler.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dave Bautista as Raban was fantastic.
Yeah, he was terrifying. And I can't believe I forgot him in the movie of the year, like, roundup.
He's worked incredibly hard on his craft.
Mm.
I know with The Rock, when he started taking less PG roles, was about equal to the time that Vince McMahon stopped getting a piece of his movie money. Because Vince McMahon and the WWF were responsible for Rock's bookings for the first couple of movies, and I don't know if John Cena was on the same deal or not, but could have been.
Yeah,
Could have been.
That could well have been.
That's why when he went from Dwayne The Rock Johnson to just Dwayne Johnson, he paid for the use of the name The Rock. That wasn't free. That's trademark that WWE
never is.
owns. No.
But bottom line is, I'm very much enjoying John Cena in this dipshit, like, horrible Punisher, like, has a love child with Captain America
He feels like a character in your books.
And we touched on it briefly, but it needs to be said a little more. That fucking intro is such a jam.
It's awesome. I found myself dancing along with it, and my cat was mesmerized, and we were just like, it can't get any better than this. And then there was another musical number in the first episode, and I'm like, it got better.
Yeah.
Robert Patrick dancing.
Robert Patrick, I thought, had dance training. It's one of those like Christopher Walken-esque moments where yes, he can, but is it just me, or is he slowly turning into Christopher Walken with every progressive year?
Yeah, that I almost did not recognize him for a bit in that role. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's just you, Rachel. The rest of us think he's very quickly turning into Christopher Walken.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Okay with that too. Okay, so my walking sucks. Leave me alone.
I was waiting to place the walk-in comma. Like, you got to get the space just long enough.
I can see you all just staring at your microphones in thinly veiled disgust.
We don't want to jump over
and
you.
I don't care.
Mine wasn't veiled at all.
It's very true.
I like the women on the show, too. Like, that was a refreshing change. Like, they were varied women who spoke to each other, and they weren't about me. It passed the Bechdel test in episode 1, and I'm like, whoa.
Wait, hang on. Is it not Bechdel? Have I been saying it wrong the whole time?
I don't know. Look, I'm a woman. How could I know? I need a man to explain to me how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Oh, then fine. It's Bechdel.
This would not be the first time I discover I have been pronouncing something wrong my entire life.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I am prepared for that possibility.
But if it's
I know the
Bechtel,
feeling.
then I've got 6 men to explain it to me. Because I'm sure my husband will jump in too.
Bitchels.
You realize I'm going to look up how to pronounce it.
Please do.
Yeah, I wanna know.
I'm genuinely
Oh, we-
curious what the correct way is.
Yeah, none of us give enough of a shit to actually look it up ourselves.
Indubitably.
We can't pronounce that either.
It is Bechtel.
Yeah,
So I have had officially men explain to me how to say it.
You have been mansplained.
Yes!
So it is Bechtel?
Bechtel.
Bechtel.
Bitchels.
Bechtel.
Okay, sorry, I misheard.
Yeah,
I always
From now on,
because
it's
I'd
just
never heard it
Bitchels.
aloud, honestly. So Bechtel.
Cool.
There is something very ironic about this, and I love it.
In the future, if you forget, just remember it rhymes with rectal.
Jesus.
Did you have to wait till I had the tea in my mouth, Rick? In my mouth.
I got a mental ping.
He's done this to me so many times, though, guys. You don't understand. I think he has a fucking camera in here to know as soon as I put
Oh,
the
he
tea to
does.
my mouth, make the quip to make Rachel snort it through her nose.
Hold on. I gotta adjust the focus.
Are you looking at my tits again?
Yeah.
So Rachel mentioned the casting of the Peacemaker one, and honestly, that is something I wanted to touch on.
Yeah.
It is diverse and varied, but also just really, really good. Like I
Mm-hmm.
love everyone they have in their roles. It's again to harken back sort of to the original Suicide Squad before, and then compared to this one, it's like, oh man, the casting really does make a strong difference.
Although they kept the best of the best, because
Oh, they did.
Waller
They did.
is.
You mean the
mwah.
eagle?
Oh,
Yes. Fucking eagly.
oh, Eagly.
I would watch an entire show just around Amanda Waller just being a terrible
Amanda
human
Waller.
being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she is
Yeah.
spectacular. You only need a tiny taste of her, and your anxiety levels go up. She's that terrifying.
I think actually that's a really good point. I think Amanda Waller is a much better character, at least the way that she's currently being written, when you only get her in little bits and pieces. Like too much kind of exposes the flaws in that whole mastermind archetype, but like a sprinkle here and there is just right.
Oh yeah.
What really works is the fact that they keep talking about her as in like this is a terrible thing that Amanda Waller probably did.
Yeah, and it's believable because
Yeah.
they hate her, and like it's exactly the way you would shit talk your boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, they felt like a
That's
real
exactly the way I did.
office group, didn't they? Like they feel like natural coworkers instead of actors. So it's a great ensemble.
Yeah. The chemistry is outstanding.
I really like the fact that there's such a varied set of body types on the show, even among the superhero types.
Mm.
They don't all look like John Cena. They're not all giant piles of muscle. I mean, Vigilante kind of looks like I could take him.
He kind of looks like I could take him.
And all of the jokes about Judo Master, so good. I don't think Rachel's been introduced to
I
Judo
have not
Master
yet.
Oh,
Judo
man.
Master is fucking awesome.
You are going to love Judo Master.
Whoever that actor or stunt person is that's doing that fight choreography is fucking outstanding.
The fights felt brutal. They felt real.
Oh, you know that fight choreographer is like, we have a lead who is used to having the shit kicked out of him. Let's go!
I know. It's awesome.
Because, yeah, if I were a fight choreographer and all of a sudden I got somebody who had willingly gone through tables hundreds of times, like, yeah, I'm here for every bit of this.
He knows how to bump.
There is definitely some bumps, but I think we're talking about different things.
I think we call that a bulge, and we haven't discussed the obligatory John Cena in tighty-whitey scenes.
Yes. Dear God.
He was
God.
definitely singing into a vibrator.
Yes,
right?
he was definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can
That is
confirm that was a
100%
vibrator.
a
voice.
Hitachi.
Oh man, yeah, it's very raunchy. It's leaning into that DC grittiness, but in a way that works tonally. We've touched on this before when we've talked about the DC extended universe. How one of their big flaws is trying to fit every property through that kind of gritty Nolan-esque frame. And while it has diminished some, there's kind of still tinges of it. But in Peacemaker and in the Suicide Squad, it works.
It's
It
cartoonish
adds
grit
to
though.
the tone and the story.
Yeah, when they finally pulled their heads out of the asses and realized that the first Suicide Squad didn't have to be PG-13.
I just mean like how Peacemaker it's grimy. Like he lives in kind of a shithole. They don't shy away from like drugs, drinking, sex in the first episode. But given what we know of this character, that all feels really appropriate.
It does.
His father looks like an aging Joe Dirt.
Oh, and yeah, his father is such a piece of shit. It's like,
Oh God.
that's Robert Patrick, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he is really selling that.
I mean, Robert Patrick plays an excellent villain.
Yeah.
The man is
Yeah.
a talent. And I mean, that right there is sort of telling, and it's like, all right, we need a really good villain, and we got Robert Patrick. Well, shit, somebody came to play.
Yeah.
He occasionally plays good guys, but they're always military good guys that are very, like, straight-laced and serious. So it's nice to see him with a bit of fun.
I mean, he found his general archetype, and he is playing it to the hilt, and more power to him. Get that paycheck, buddy.
And all of his assholishness works really well with the fact that I started a rewatch of Justified last week, so it's kind of the same vibe.
There's a singing dildo fight in Justified?
Nope, there's a whole lot of racist assholes.
Okay. I could see where that could also be a parallel.
Yeah, there is some crossover there.
I did, though, love that it was in the first episode, it was a woman kicking ass multiple times, but the bar scene, every woman who's ever been approached at a bar just felt a brief moment of, oh, if only.
And that kind of continues because Harcourt, the blonde,
Yeah.
is the only competent operative.
I kind of got that impression, but I really liked her because they could have just made a traditional, like, cool, perfect blonde, but she seems to actually have a bit of depth so far. I mean, it could just be that the actress is really good, and the writing was good, and it was edited well. So it took a character that could have been just a complete one-note magical girl trope and made her interesting.
Well, yeah, she comes across as somebody competent who has just gotten shit assignments
Yes.
that she feels are completely beneath her.
Because
I mean,
she
they
pissed
touch
off
on
the
it in the
wrong
first episode.
person.
Yeah.
It's a punishment assignment. That's
Yeah.
what they view it as.
Mhm.
And I mean, she probably has just pissed off the wrong people. That's why she's working for all these dumbass dudes.
Well, she did piss off Waller. That's why.
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That is the thing. But speaking of Waller, the actress who plays this is in the first episode, and we did spoiler warning. The
Yeah.
actress who plays her daughter is just fucking great. Like, I really enjoy that character. There's a little bit of mystery, like a lot of emotional complexity.
Yeah.
And that actress does a fantastic job, like really making you believe the heart.
Oh, and she definitely comes, like, she really, what I love is you get that sense of that daughter who knows that there's no way she's going to live up to, like, to her mom's legacy and stuff.
Yeah, I could feel that. Or she doesn't want to become her mother. That
Yeah.
I can identify
Yeah.
with.
You see that too.
The like
And-
her looks every time someone mentions like what a piece of shit Amanda Waller is.
Yeah. It's like she really wants to come to her mother's defense, but then she's like, no, she's kind of a piece of shit.
But it's also nice to see a, to me, normal-sized woman actually get some and have a healthy relationship instead of being just the butt
Oh,
of all
yeah.
the jokes. Like, can I just have that happy moment? of that not being used. I mean, it's a show that really could have gone for all the stupid asshole tropes, but instead it punches up more than it punches down, and I was very
Well,
happy
still
with it.
hitting plenty of asshole tropes.
Oh, it hits a lot of asshole tropes, but it's always hitting like deserved assholes. You know, nobody is going to complain about a white supremacist being mocked. I'm sorry. At least they shouldn't.
You'd be amazed.
Yeah, like Twitter went nuts like in like the week before this show came out because they showed some clips of like of Peacemaker just being a sexist asshole, and they're like, oh, do we really need a hero like that? And it's like, I don't think you're quite understanding that he's not really a hero.
No,
That's something I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I don't think it's his show. When when you're doing a play, when you're creating something, whose show is it? I don't think it's Peacemaker's show. I think he's the catalyst for a lot of things, but I think it's Adebayo's, and I'm pretty sure I butchered her name just then. Waller's daughter. I think she's the protagonist.
butcher it with confidence.
I absolutely could see that.
That's the key, remember?
I buy that.
Yeah, I think she is. I do think she's who you're supposed to root for, because I think she's the decent one among them. Or
She's the moral compass.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Like I watched episode 4 this morning, and there's a scene where she's looking in the mirror, and it's just like, holy shit. And I kept thinking, fuck, that's got to be how Joe feels dealing with us.
So we won't touch on anything past episode 1, but I will say we get a little more of this in like episode 4. I think they were very smart in the way they built Peacemaker's father as a character, because he is such an overt piece of shit and played so well by Robert Patrick that it definitely humanizes Peacemaker a ton, which he needed after the Suicide Squad movie. They had to make him seem not as bad, and his dad absolutely is like, okay, well, Peacemaker's an asshole, but I guess he's not a racist piece of shit monster.
No, he kills everybody
Right.
equally, remember? He's going to focus on killing more white people in the future.
Yeah.
Even that conversation was sort of I guess a good one, because it, as silly as it is, it demonstrates a willingness to accept that he is wrong, which is not a common trait all the time.
In superhero fiction or in life.
That is
Yep.
true.
Most of the time, if you're going through the world looking like John Cena, you don't have to admit you're wrong all that often.
No. But he does have kind of like a sadness, and weirdly enough, I hate to say it, almost a sweetness. There's like a purity of his dumb assness that you
like
kind
when
of
he
have
calls
to admire.
He calls the waitress sweet cheeks, and they're like, what the hell are you saying? He's like, what? She has nice cheeks. They're like, that's not what it means.
Was that inappropriate? That's like my new response to everything.
And then and there again, he realizes he's wrong, so he changes how he refers to her. He goes from sweet cheeks to sugar tits.
There's a line in My Name is Earl that I have stuck with me for a lot longer than it really has any reason to. But it's just, well, Earl, there's bad, and then there's simple. And you were bad, and your brother was simple. But like that kind of occurred to me when we were talking about like Peacemaker and a sense of morality. He's definitely does bad things, but you don't necessarily get the sense that they are bad so much as that they are just stupid.
Well,
Yeah.
basically, like John Cena was told not to read any Peacemaker comics and instead to act like a really douchey, bro-y Captain America. It's basically what James
So he
Gunn told
watched
him.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Has anybody read Peacemaker? I have no back knowledge of this character.
I read
Yeah.
like one comic when I was a kid.
I had
barely.
never fucking heard of the character before the
I have
Suicide
not.
Squad.
Yeah,
I read
same with
Marvel.
John.
Is he traditionally a villain or a hero or just kind of a flip flop?
I think he's kind of in that ambiguous space.
Gotcha.
Was he supposed to be like a counterpoint to the Punisher?
I have no
Probably.
idea.
You ever need someone to talk about Claremont era X-Men? I'm your gal for comics, but when you get to the DC world, it's like I read it in the barber shop, and they always gave me bleeping Catwoman comics because I was a girl. Wonder Woman.
Can't believe your barber shop had comic books.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't. Your
That was
barbershop?
not a thing in my shitty
Oh,
town.
Like,
no.
yeah, you sit your ass down. I'm going to cut your hair.
No, they always, the barbershop always had this stack of comic books for the kids who waited with the adults. So
That's
when my
cool.
grandfather went to
Yeah.
get his haircut, that's when I discovered my love of comic books.
At my barbershops, we just had boredom.
Oh, they also had a machine that had these awesome the old Sprite bottles that had like the nubby glass and tasted really good.
Well, yeah, you
Jesus.
definitely went on the barbershop front.
God damn, that character was created in 1966.
Damn, that's before my time.
It's before all our times.
I can say, if anyone here was alive in 1966, we need to have a discussion about what the fuck you're eating. Because, goddamn, I'm gonna start that.
Souls.
All right, did we have any other thoughts we wanted to touch on with Peacemaker for the bonus action before we moved on to our main topic?
I'm shocked that I went in with a kind of an expectation that I'm like, because I liked the Suicide Squad, but I didn't love it. Like, I was really expecting to not like it, and I was surprised that I did. So that's my final word on it.
Any role that has John Cena unironically saying that he would eat a beach full of dicks for justice.
That part I
mean,
liked.
you had me at hello.
That part I liked. It was pacing issues on the movie. It's the usual problem I have with long superhero movies, pacing.
Well, then sit the fuck down. You won't get so tired from pacing.
Sigh.
Ba-dum-bum.
That was not that bad.
Oh,
Okay, it was.
it was
pretty
that bad.
So moving on to Activision.
I didn't get it, but it was better than your walking impression.
Oh, that is true.
Oh,
I'll take it.
the new bar.
It's better than Werewolves
yes,
of the
we're-
Third Reich. There.
Oh, God. All right, moving on to a different sort of horrible.
Oh.
So, Activision Blizzard, a company that is deeply embroiled in
Shitty.
controversy, criminal charges, just an absolute shit show from assholes to elbows. And apparently, due to the stock price being in plummet, or at least compromised, depending on who you read about, and all sorts of whispers and stuff behind the scenes of it being a company that was in danger, Microsoft swooped in and bought them for a price that is probably a lot better than it would have been a year ago. But it is the biggest purchase in all of entertainment history, $60-something billion.
69.
Okay.
It rounds up to 69 when you take the cash assets. So let's enjoy that.
Nice.
And
Well,
I
that's a
imagine
fun one.
Microsoft calling them up and be like, hey, we want to buy your company. The shitball CEO of Activision be like, no, hell no, we won't sell. Well, we'll give you 69 million. No way. 69 million in dick pills sold.
Yeah.
Oh god, and you know they're gonna they're soft exiting him. He's gonna get another huge fucking bonus, and that asshole is going to fail upwards. It's Uncle Bobby gets away again, and I'm just
100%, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
Ah.
the potential upside is that at least, we don't want to say anything with certainty, but there is a pretty reasonable chance that this purchase means that Activision Blizzard is going to get scrubbed the fuck.
Oh, I hope
out.
they do
Yeah.
it without lube. Okay, because just the reading the reports, and like if you've ever been to something like BlizzCon, it is such a bro fest. Like, dude, I would rather be mansplained by all of you on repeat than to hear them talk about Sylvanas anymore. Like,
Bitchels.
yes, bitchel me out, babes, because I had to take, there was luckily this very lovely gay man who was my fairy godfather for all of BlizzCon, so that guys would stop bothering me. So we stuck together, so no one bothered him and no one bothered me. But it was very much a bro fest there, and that was in 2004.
For our audience members who haven't been paying attention, what's the issue?
Oh,
with
Activision and Blizzard,
and
they had a Cosby
whatever.
suite.
I don't know.
A motherfucking Cosby suite where they took women in there, roofied them, and then took pictures, among other things. Okay? You don't need to know anything
Did
else.
they call it a Cosby suite?
Yes, they called it the Cosby suite.
Wow.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. To give a quick over thing, there's so much sexual harassment, so much just horrible shit that the state of California filed a lawsuit against them.
Do you know how hard that is to actually have them succeed? Like, damn.
Yeah.
You have to have so much proof.
And it's doing well.
Yeah, it's they're getting fucked.
The general consensus is that Activision Blizzard was going to lose the shit out of that case. Now,
Yeah.
That is of course speculation.
They're
but
already having to settle. They've already been found guilty. It's all to remediation. Being bought is probably their only hope of not being completely shit canned.
That's
So,
probably why it's happening.
Like,
100%, yeah.
Guarantee you that
like
there were some people
they're
that
worse
leaked
than
shit.
Riot, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, they are worse than Riot.
Which is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I was
Criminally
so sad
bad.
that I didn't get the job there a few years ago. And now I'm like, oh, I dodged a bullet. I really dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as much as we generally, there's always a certain amount of reticence when a big company buys another big company and purchases a suite of developers and stuff. And, there is some feeling of that. But in this particular case, it's hard not to be like, well, maybe Activision Blizzard needed to get turned upside down and shaken really hard for a while.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing Microsoft's not going to do, it's fuck around with PR. Big Daddy Bill does not like a negative image.
No.
No.
And if there's one thing that Microsoft does, they take care of their employees.
Yeah. I've had multiple friends who've worked for Microsoft and
There's one little thing, is that some of the executives that were trashy at Activision Blizzard were ex-Microsoft. They were booted out of Microsoft, and they went there. I'm wondering if they'll get booted again.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be a soft boot.
It's going to have to be a bloodbath. I mean, they'll get their contract payouts and everything because that's how contracts work. But I don't see any way that Microsoft goes forward without a huge amount of transparent house cleaning, because everybody knows how badly embroiled it is. And if they don't do that, then it reflects negatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Microsoft gives a big damn about that.
They do.
They
They
do.
give. I mean, ever since those antitrust suits, they have been very fastidious about maintaining their shit.
They also have the only women-run gaming... Like, they have more female executives in gaming than any other company, so... I have a feeling there might be a little bit of satisfying vengeance to come.
Now, Drew, you used a word just now that has been bouncing around in my head since we started talking about this. Do we think there's an antitrust issue with this?
There is some worry about that. There is some speculation. Now, I mean, there are also so many tons of fucking other game studios in existence that, it is hard to argue that. But in
But how
terms of
many
like the
them are
AAA
this
industry,
goddamn big?
Yeah.
There's what, EA, Sony, and Tencent?
Ubisoft.
Square.
They're Square's owned by
Square.
EA, aren't they?
I have no idea.
I think they are. There's a lot of
Did not know
companies,
that.
like, Microsoft has Bethesda now, and if they get Microsoft
Oh.
Blizzard, they're going to have every online major game, which is what they're considering. You've pretty much only got Asian companies to compete, and EA. And, EA is like, competing against EA is like, who do I hate less?
Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot are now Microsoft properties under this deal.
Yeah. And
The
Halo.
de facto PlayStation mascots at one time.
It is weird,
Huh.
but the only thing that's going to let this deal go through is honestly Sony, because Sony is big enough and competitive enough and still has the Play Pass. But I guarantee you that if this does go through, World of Warcraft is going to be on Games Pass and probably included in it, and the price is going to go up.
I don't think the
Jesus.
price will go up. I think it is going to be included.
They're going to
but-
go up
right?
within a
They
couple
will-
years. They are.
Eventually.
I call it by
I
2023.
think right now, I think that's too soon. I think right now Microsoft is laying the pipe to just destroy and dominate the online streaming space. They're doing what Netflix did in the early days, where they're making much too good of a deal. Like Game Pass right now is stupidly overvalued.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. And I don't have any Microsoft Xbox loyalty. I have one because it's what I could get this generation, and I was lucky to get it.
I got one yesterday, so I can comment. I will say Games Pass is very nice. It's already
crazy.
being used.
How much is that a month?
$15, I want to say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I think you can.
And
it's a family plan is slightly more because my son has one and now my husband has one, and I don't have to hear them fight anymore.
But I mean, it's like I picked up a game. I was like, oh, I watched a review. I want to try that. Oh, it's free on Game Pass. Cool. The Halo games, all the Bethesda games, all these studios that Microsoft is buying, their day one shit hits Game Pass.
Yeah.
Same as the people who are paying full price.
Shit.
And that's the thing is, that's why I don't think they're going to drop it up too soon. I think right now Microsoft is just trying to build that base. They want to be the streaming game hub, and they're willing to eat a lower price on that.
They're
until
pulling
they
a
just
Netflix
have
or a Disney Plus.
exactly just that massive market domination. So I would say maybe 26, 27 if they have like captured the market fully. But they have so much other money. I think they're willing to just eat that low price to build that customer base.
I mean,
well,
they
it'll
might.
be 24 before the ink's dry on any of this acquisition.
23.
True.
That's when it goes through. Summer 23.
Yeah, but then they still have to consolidate all the humans and fire everybody and hire everybody. None of these Activision Blizzard changes will have any effect on what consumers see from Microsoft until, I'm guessing, 25 at the very earliest.
Yeah, you're probably right. These companies like this...
Shit they're working on now won't even deliver with a Microsoft logo on it. It's just gonna, because the development cycle is so long, and getting the infrastructure and to be able to digitize and stream all of that stuff, there's gonna have to be a ton of back end to migrate existing Diablo shit.
I think they're talking about
WoW shit.
If they can merge Battle.net and Games Pass, like the Xbox Live, that is a huge network of players. And one thing they did mention was about eventually getting this whole metaverse concept of cross-platform banning, which is something that a lot of people are both terrified and excited for, that basically if you're a toxic you-know-what in one platform, you can get banned everywhere. And that's one sort of exciting / terrifying development, because they're definitely banking big. They want lots of base of gamers, so if they want to do the next big thing, they get the widest net possible.
Yeah. And, I mean, necromancers are not the way you grow a business.
No. But John, you mentioned the future, and that brings up an interesting point. So, obviously, Microsoft is not buying a $69 billion worth of game studio to not have that content eventually be exclusive or quasi-exclusive. But they have also said in the course of this merger that all existing content and contracts are going to be honored and stay in place, meaning so Call of Duty will be a Microsoft property moving forward, but they're not going to strip old Call of Duty titles off of the PlayStation. They're instead going to only moving forward. They haven't said anything specific.
Well, it could be like Minecraft.
Presumably those will be exactly like what happened when they bought Minecraft, which I think is pretty smart. It shows a mind toward building a customer base rather than strictly the bottom line. Because if they were focused on pinching pennies out of this, they'd rip that shit down and say, if you want to play it, come to Xbox. But this way they kind of get the benefit of the game community saying, well, they could have fucked us and they didn't.
Well, that also gets the Department of Justice probably not off their back.
I wonder if this means that Blizzard games will stop being Mac compatible going forward.
That is
'Cause
possible, though.
That's one of the big things. That was one of the big things about Blizzard is they were one of the few AAA developers that made games for both platforms.
Yeah, that one I don't know. That's a
I
tough
would
one.
expect that licensing and distribution contracts probably have a sunset clause built into them, so Microsoft can just sit back and wait until Sony can no longer stream Call of Duty and just not re-up. But then that's going to be a few years and everyone will have forgotten. Oh, well, it just rotates off the PlayStation stream. Oh, I can go to Games Pass and stream it there. And they still don't get the negative PR of yanking it off their servers on day one.
Yeah, very well could be. But whatever it is, they're definitely playing. They're playing it smart. They're playing a strategy. It's interesting to see what Microsoft is cooking at this point, because they're clearly doing something.
Yeah.
Like these are fucking huge moves. 12 billion and then 69 billion. I mean, you don't spend that kind of money in a publicly traded company without a hell of a business plan in place.
Yeah, I mean, comparatively speaking, I mean, I've always been a PlayStation person, but
Yeah.
over the years, you've seen Microsoft evolve their strategy, whereas Sony kind of keeps playing via the same PlayStation playbook.
Well, I think they're betting on, as I said, almost like that Ready Player One massive metaverse gaming eventuality. They're just trying to get as many spokes as possible to prop it up.
And I mean, if we're talking metaverse, honestly, if I have to support some tyrannical billionaire, I hate to say it, much rather throw money into Microsoft than Facebook. And I know Microsoft is God far from perfect, but Jesus, they're leagues above fucking Facebook and Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I'd rather throw money at Satan than Facebook.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, ditto.
So even just from God, I fucking hate saying this about Microsoft. From an ethical perspective, I'm kind of rooting for them.
I mean, when you're dealing with Blizzard Activision, you really could have, look, a shit demon. I think he's the ethical choice in this matter, okay? So it's a pretty low bar on one side. I mean, I don't think anyone, oh my god, the allegations coming out. Oh, just...
Listen, Nyarlathotep, I know you're the crawling chaos, but I think you're the one to head this company.
Exactly.
Who's the other choice? The guy who ran Blizzard? Okay, yeah, no, we're good with Narlo. Let's ratify him. Yep. 1,000 Days of Darkness, but can he keep his dick to himself? Okay.
All 600 of them keeps him to
Those
himself.
spindly million legs can just crawl all over that as long as they keep the ethics working properly.
It's like, he ate 5 people. Yes, but he selected them with random, and he fired the executive caught sexually harassing an intern. So, honestly, we are so far up right now.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. There are very few, there's not much. I mean, you're going to have to start getting into breaking Godwin's Law to really beat Activision Blizzard right now.
It would not surprise me, even a little.
Oh, yeah, no. But, I mean, for the metaverse, we were talking about Facebook, but in the Activision Blizzard deal, I don't think, aside from just the shittiest of shit people are mourning the loss of that company's management.
No.
I'm sure people would be afraid to lose the properties, but the people who were, running the management and doing all that shit, fuck them all the way to hell.
Watching them be dragged out in chains would be most people want, I think.
Yeah, that would be great, but unfortunately, they're rich and this is where we live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Microsoft is very good at taking their cash cows and milking them dry. So I don't think Diablo or Call of Duty or anything like that is going anywhere. If anything, we'll get a Call of Duty Halo crossover in a few, years.
Yeah. That cow is about to go free range and get nicer grass and a shitload of specialized caretakers.
Exactly. They're going to be the Kobe cash cows by the end of it.
Call of Halo.
God, that would sell 100 million copies in a fucking week.
Oh yeah,
And
call
you know
a
you're
Halo.
gonna- And you know you're going to be getting Master Chief skins in Diablo.
I'm here for it.
My kitty would be
God
so
damn,
happy. She's obsessed with Master Chief.
I guess I'd have to get an Xbox again.
Oh man, I played Kingdoms of Amalur, which is a fantasy swords and sorcery game, and one of the bonuses in like the chest that you could get was a fucking Mass Effect costume because they were cross promoting. Did not make any sense whatsoever in the world.
I'm here for it. I'm there.
I mean, it had good stats, so of course I wore it. But
You have,
Of course you did.
you have Diablo running around Halo.
you know, that kind of, we're talking about the games. That is sort of a part of this I'm really happy about because I enjoyed Diablo 3 and I was having fun doing World of Warcraft with Steve on Adventure Brodeo, but we haven't touched those things for months for obvious reasons. We just we can't give money or exposure to that company right now.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I cheered when you stopped. Just so you know, it was noticed.
I mean, it was just, we was like, all right, what should we do today? Well, we can't fucking do any of those.
Have you tried Final Fantasy?
Not for Brodeo.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Run around as a little potat. You know you want to have
Oh.
someone as a kitty boy and someone as a bunny boy.
You could eat up the entire Brodeo with just watching a cutscene.
Isn't it awesome?
But I'm looking forward to playing those again and not feeling like a piece of shit for doing it.
I was going to say, honestly, all of us snarking on some Final Fantasy cutscenes would be a pretty good time.
I have seen all the Final Fantasy scenes, so I am there for that. I totally love any company that can go, we royally fucked up. We did everything wrong. We are going to nuke it, pave it, listen to all of you, completely destroy the world, and give you a game that you actually want. I mean, that takes some cojones, and I am proud of them.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about their re-release.
Dude, you would love it. It's literally you. It is you,
Oh.
the MMORPG. Big
Oh,
swords,
okay.
broody people, lots of emotion, yelling and fights. Come on! And there's airships.
Okay,
I will just say, I am still pissed off about Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, we don't talk about Final Fantasy 15. I'm just like, why is there a Buick? For fuck's sake, why are there 4 hot guys? Usually 4 hot guys in a convertible, I would find to be a good time, and I was bored. Okay.
I don't even give a shit about the Buick. I give a shit about the ending. Spoiler alert. Hey, guess what? You all fucking die at the end of Final Fantasy 15. Everybody.
Yes.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
100 hours and everybody is dead. I would I could have just lost my first fight in that game and I would have saved myself like a month's worth of life.
Wait, but there's post game. I've heard people talk about it.
That sounds fucking terrible.
Well, they've released a lot of DLC to try to fix that, but the original ending pissed me off so badly that I refuse to look at the DLC because it's like no, you're all dead to me.
I hated that it was like you had to read comic books, watch a movie, do that. It's like no. If it's a main game that I'm already paying this much fucking money for, I would like to be able to just start playing and get into the story and not be.
Oh no,
completely
that's Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts, they've spread it across 15 different platforms, and there's such a convoluted story behind essentially Final Fantasy meets Disney that like my oldest tries to sit down every now and then and explain to me, and I'm just like, stop. Nothing. These words you're saying make no sense. I'm like, guy with sword fighting alongside Donald Duck. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, the only thing I know about Final Fantasy 15 is that we got that great Stand By Me cover by Florence and the Machine, and that's all I need from it.
Ooh, I haven't heard that. That sounds great.
It's really fucking good. When they talked about it, I was like, oh, I don't care about the game, but Florence and the Machine is covering Stand By Me. Hell yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
she's incredible.
I mean,
But I will
that's
say,
pretty good.
the ending of Final Fantasy 15 is basically Season 8 of Game of Thrones. It's a fun ride for 99 of those hours, and the last hour just makes you want to do like self-brain surgery and just excise those memories.
It really does
I mean,
not stick the landing. That's the best way to put it.
some of us work pretty hard on altering our brain chemistry on the regular there, Valtieri.
But with
Does that mean we
chemicals
have
other than
time
bleach.
to talk about
That's
Moonlight
true.
before we're done?
Talk about what?
Talk about who, what?
Oh, what?
Moonlight
Oh, right.
trailer.
Oh. Yeah, because I want to hear your and Rick's opinions on the Moon Knight trailer.
Brunch Daddy.
Why is everybody talking about my opinions? I like the Moon Knight trailer.
That's what I was wondering.
Until Moon Knight showed
No,
up.
no, that was
that's
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
Rick and I agreed. We've already been squeeing in our private chat.
For different reasons.
Brunch Daddy
I did
Oscar
watch
Isaac.
the Moon Knight trailer, and I'm kind of on Steve's side. The Moon Knight effects were not as, let's say, intense and interesting as the performance that Oscar Isaac had delivered up until then.
What is gonna stand up to that? I mean, you see it for like 2 seconds. I liked the glowing white eyes, and I liked the fact that it kind of conjured a mummy's wrappings. I thought that was interesting.
I like the costume. It's kind of like almost like a reverse Batman.
I don't. Maybe I'll like it better in context of the movie. The trailer, I don't know. The trailer just had like such a specific sort of intensity that it was building toward, and then like shifting to suddenly that was, let's say, tonally jarring.
You thought he looked silly, didn't you?
It was not what I would have anticipated based on what I had watched so far. But maybe in the movie, it will not feel as much of a disparate.
It's hard to do white costumes. I think that is a big thing, especially when you have a dark, like there's a reason when they do movies, they darken the tones on almost every costume, because unless you're doing something like the White Queen and it's a very feminine costume, white costumes are they're hard to light, they're hard to set in and among the other costumes, and I get that. But he's supposed to be a glowing white moon. Like, he's the anti-Batman.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I thought they did a good job of transferring the costume from comic book to to screen. Yes, it is kind of a goofy costume, but most superhero costumes are goofy. At least they didn't like. At least it's kind of comic accurate. It's not like taking the X-Men and like being like your costumes are ridiculous. So we're just gonna stick you all in in black leather.
Wait, so he's a mummy in the comics? Because
he's not a mummy, but his costume is is essentially just
white robes,
white with a white cape and a white hood and
a solid
a lot of white
face mask and glowy white eyes, and then the moon symbol on it.
He's Aryan Batman, dude.
Fuck.
The man is whiter than a Trump rally in Minnesota.
we could just say he's albino Batman.
God damn
yeah, it's not really a costume that is made.
It
for
is a kind of silly costume.
No, it couldn't be made. Would be the worst.
I just want to know who edited that trailer, though, because it was chef's kiss. The beats hit so well. They just picked a great song. They picked a great sort of interchange that kind of showed the disassociation that the character had. And you're kind of like, ooh, what the heck is going on? Or as my husband said, I have no idea what any of this bloody nonsense is, but I kind of want to see it. Meanwhile, I'm drooling over Oscar Isaac.
Who will forever after be known as Brunch Daddy.
He's not the guy that was the bad guy in Knight's Tale.
No, that's Rufus Sewell.
He's the guy that was the bad guy in Age of Apocalypse under all the makeup.
Yes, he was Apocalypse.
He was Apocalypse.
Or the Power Ranger.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that.
Or most importantly, he is Duke Leto Atreides.
That's Brunch Daddy Oscar Isaac, and we appreciate him. We really do. You obviously missed the Jane's episode where we went. Yeah. We had a very thorough discussion of in the Dune side quests. Yeah.
So that's a Dune thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bearded and then naked. There's just not much to complain about. But in the trailer, I love the fact, I mean, we did look up to go, he did a pretty good British accent. He is not actually from the UK. He's from Miami. Very well done, sir. He's apparently doing a different
he's
voice
definitely
for
won-
every personality.
He's won the role lottery in the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, he's just like headliner role after headliner role where he completely owns everything. It's just
and yet he's still
very down to earth.
he's also like still borderline that guy. Like he's not really a household name.
He is in this household.
As is evidenced by me asking if he was the dude from Knight's Tale.
No, that's Rufus Sewell, who I can also go on because he's in one of my favorite movies of all time. I love him.
Knight's Tale.
No, my favorite movie of all time is Dark City. But he's
Oh
in
God, I
that.
love Dark City. Dark City is so
allowed to
good.
be wrong. It's fine.
No,
Dark
Dark
City
City
is
is one of
amazing.
the... Thank you. See, Joe is on my side.
I love Dark City. There's
Dark City is missing one key component.
What is that?
Paul Bettany.
it has Rufus.
It
Dark
has
City
his
has
wife
it has Jennifer Connelly as a sexy lounge singer.
in the
haven't
most
seen either of
gorgeous
these
dress
movies.
ever.
Yeah, no, it's everything about, and it has a creepy ass bald child who kills people called Mr. Sleep.
Oh, and it has, of course, Mr. Hand. God.
Yes, Mr. Hand.
From
Wait. Does it have a psychic dolphin?
Richard O'Brien. Yes, Richard O'Brien from Rocky Horror. Oh.
Richard
Does it
O'Brien
have
is
a psychic dolphin, though?
No, that's Johnny Mnemonic, which is a
Oh,
movie
I know what it's
that I
from.
will
I'm just
never
asking
be
if they have
forgiven
one.
for taking my father to.
Look at Drew coming out of left field going, no, the greatest movie ever is Johnny Mnemonic.
Whoa, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
No.
the greatest movie ever would have a psychic dolphin.
No,
that is a
no.
component of the greatest movie ever.
It can't be because Johnny
And Paul
Mnemonic is
Bettany.
not the greatest movie ever. Paul Bettany is awesome,
Agreed,
but his wife
but
is
that
more
will be a
awesome. She's
piece of it.
gorgeous. And I love Jennifer Connelly and everything.
Yeah, Jennifer Connelly's amazing.
I'd just like to say I'm creepy and bald and bearded and naked.
Why, hello there, Bevan. I can't even finish that sentence. Sorry, man.
Well, that feels like a good mental image to leave the listeners on.
Please walk us
Behold
out.
his wonder. That's all I
We have to get out of here.
All right. Well, that has been Side Quest. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back next week with a regular episode of Authors and Dragons. Until then, bye.
Bye.